might as well just get into it. But look, I just wanted to thank you very much for your time today and coming onto my show.
Very, mate. I'm glad to be here now.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. Yeah, so I did a bit of research. I did a little bit of background work on you. I noticed that basically I'll just turn my screen off. But yeah, I basically found out that you run a business where you do dent repairs. But what didn't really draw me to you was more that your MLM background. I watch you from time to time on the MBA calls.
Okay.
And that energy that you have is just is infectious. Yeah. You really bring the game to the Zoom calls that you guys have.
Thanks.
And yeah, I was just like, man, I got to get to know a bit about this guy because, basically it was like, like all I know is that what I can gather is like you are a successful MLM marketer, aren't you? Would you call
look, it's a funny sort of situation. I got into business early, 17, 18 years old, sort of self-taught at that stage. And then basically started to delve into like personal development and a few life skills that they don't teach you at school.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden got introduced to Tony Robbins and ended up part of his platinum partnership around the world. So my car repair business was going very well. And I say very well, I mean, it was in the millions. We ended up after going away and learning some skills around business, I came back and really sort of grew that out very quickly to around 26 shops around Australia and New Zealand. And I really sort of had built a big business, but wasn't satisfied. So it wasn't until I got introduced at a big conference where we were at, there was the Google guys were there and they were talking about car automation and how cars were going to be automated going into the future. And here I am, a dent guy. I sort of started to put two and two together and started to realize that cars aren't going to have as many accidents as what they have in the past, and that there was going to be different metals involved if cars weren't having these front-on collisions like they were. So, a few more plastics would have been involved. And so I just made that call at that point. Well, if I don't do this, what do I do? And at that time I was introduced to MLM.
Yep.
And since then, mate, I've hit the top rank of two different network marketing companies, and I've done it in a very untraditional way. Most people sort of teach I call it like a throw against the wall, like a splatter gun approach. They just try and hit everybody. I handled it more from a business orientation. I put together a board of what I call directors and then showed them how to replicate smaller, more manageable models. And because of that, and we had success, and that one thing led to another, and the journey expanded really, really quickly.
Okay, so basically you took your business experience from your prior business of dent repairs and sort of basically implemented that process, but in the MLM marketing world, unlike where it's generally uplines trying to recruit people below them, you sort of tried to create a business structure to it all as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's where most people go wrong. They try to influence people that they perceive as beneath them, and they get limited results. Where I understood if I was going to do it, I was going to build an international business. So I was speaking to people. So let me give you an example of this. Yeah. So out of Tony Robbins' platinum partnerships, at the year I was in there, which was 2016, 17, and 15, there was around 130 odd platinum partners in that group that would travel around with Tony to private events and get a lot more coaching. Out of that, 98 of them were in my network marketing team. So these are people with, their own planes. Some of them were billionaires. And I didn't sell them on the dream of getting rich. I painted a vision of working together and being able to use that as a catalyst to be able to help people break a lot of limiting beliefs that they have around money and give back some of the things that they've learned along the way. So we were able to, get a large team in a very short period of time. I was the first person in Australia, New Zealand, in the Southern Hemisphere to hit the top rank of that business that I was in. I was then nominated to be one of their top 50, what they call their knighted trainers, that flew around the world and got to speak on big stages. In fact, at one stage there, I went from, a few people that we were speaking to, we were only talking to a handful of people, as most network marketers do. And then all of a sudden I found myself on stage in front of, 23,000 people in Dallas and having to put together a talk and a keynote address that, was life-changing, right? So it's funny how it all works together, but I think probably the mindset that I took into that wasn't about fame. It wasn't about trying to get rich. It wasn't about this bullshit about residual income. I think a lot of people, let me rephrase that. Most people say passive income. Nothing's passive. It's either on the way up or it's on the way out, right? So for me, it was about creating residual, but not applying that word passive to that. I understood there was going to be work involved. And if I was going to work with people, I wanted people to work with that were at what I would perceive as my level of energy and intensity and dedication to make it work. So we went in with that framework, and that was, why we grew to around about 45,000 members in just a tick over 12 months.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Because, you created another model, because I've been a part of a few MLM marketing campaigns in the past. And, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on the people below them, or like there's pressure on me to recruit more people. And I felt like the vision wasn't about the product, but it was about the recruitment process. And, I've come from a bit of an MLM background most of my life, with my mum selling Avon through my younger years. So you're aware of Avon, are you?
Yes. Yep. I know that company well.
So, they've been around for a while, and they all have the, similar model. And when I came into another company, I won't really mention, but it was a health supplement company. It was a much different approach, like from what I'd seen with my mum, where it was all about a nurturing environment to just go. And the thing is, when you're in this MLM game, you're sort of selling yourself as well at the same time, because I feel, coming from my sales background, people are buying because of you. They're not so much buying because of the product. Yeah, they have some sort of insight, but there's so many choice out there that people are not really sure. And especially with mobile phones these days, most of them all do the same thing. So when you walk into the shop, it's about that first impression you make with someone. And, unfortunately, sometimes people will have preconceived conceptions. So it's made it very hard. Do you know what I mean? To sort of approach people?
Yeah. Look, and I totally agree with you. It is about, they're buying you. And the challenge that I've always had with network marketing is most people or most companies have this mentality of, from a corporate level, they have a mentality of, if we can spread our message the furthest, it just then comes down to percentages. It's much like Channel 9 or Channel 10 advertising on TV. It comes down to how many eyeballs see the product. A percentage of them are going to buy. A percentage of them are going to come back. So, they really don't care about the human being, but that doesn't suit from a network marketing position. So from a network marketing position, it's all about trust. It's like we're building relationships with people. So we want to make sure that those people have a trust factor with us. The moment we break that trust, they're not going to want to buy from us. And with the diatribe that most companies spread into their membership subscription to tell, it really is a challenge as far as being able to. My dog's barking in the background. You mind me just killing that?
Yeah, no, go for it.
All right.
So what were we talking about?
Yeah, so most of the time when network marketing companies are talking to people, they're trying to get them to just spread company messaging. It's non-specific, and you hear a lot of people out there and they're just saying the same old thing. They're either trying to sell a product a weird way, or they're trying to sell getting wealthy a weird way.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a little bit different. I mean, we want people to be able to follow simple instructions, but business to me is more organic than that.
Yeah.
It's about trust. It's about understanding how you speak to your friends normally. Why would you, if you like something and you're going to recommend something, recommend it. Don't be invested in the fact that you're trying to make money out of them. It's just recommend it. If you make some money out of it, great.
Mm.
If they want to come and do the business with you, then treat it like a business. I'm not going to join somebody's business if I look at them and they are not business worthy.
Yeah.
I have a certain business requirement and a set amount of energy that I'm going to put in, and I want the person that I'm working with to be able to match that and be able to bounce ideas rather than just have another boss, right? Yeah. So it's about working together. And the way I sort of explain it to people is if you come at it with that approach, if you're able to look at it from a perception of, okay, this is the journey that we're going to go on together, you have a lot more success that way, because you're no longer pushing somebody and you're painting a vision of where you're going to go together, and you need help. Yeah. And one of the key indicators for me, and one of the reasons I think I've been so successful, is I have never thought I am smarter than the people I'm speaking to. In fact, the reason I'm speaking to them is that I feel like they have skill sets or other different factors to them that would help in this business. So it's me approaching them saying, you bring your skill set, I'll bring my skill set. We'll go get some other people with different skill sets. Together we'll build something truly magical.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I always see that with other people, we all have different skill sets and different values, and, we don't need to be, a jack of all trades type of thing, No. You have your specialize or what you like to do, your field, and you focus on mastering at it. I think it was the inventor of Ford. I think his name was Henry Ford. But yeah, he used to just sit behind a desk, and whenever he wanted to do something, he pushed a button and a specialized person from that field came out. He'd tell them the challenge or the problem, and they would support him in fixing it, which then in turn allowed him to help his business go forward. So, definitely. We've all got different skill sets. It's just a matter of it being understanding everyone's skill sets and understanding the value they can bring to your team that can help you move forward, yeah?
And what a novel approach. If people start looking at people to say, what do I like about them? What is good about them? What are the things that they can do better than me, rather than, hey, come and join me and I'm going to teach you how to make money. Yeah. This concept is, for me, I just dislike it, because for me, I look at the person and say, oh, hang on, you don't need to teach me how to make money. Teach yourself how to make money first, right? Yeah. So for me, that comes across as really just ignorant. Yeah. And I don't like that, So when we got asked we actually, I'm part of that IBO program and a part of the training scenario around a multi-level marketing company now. And, I'm not involved in the product, so I don't need to worry about that too much, although the product is all around trading and cryptocurrency. So there's specialized teachers for that. I don't need to delve into that. I don't even try to, because that's not my skill set. My skill set is teaching people how to ironically, how to build teams, right? And how to build leadership and how to build themselves so that other people want to be involved with them, not trying to teach them cheap sales tactics or, going out there and just trying to, fleece their friends for a couple of cheap thrills.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when I was part of, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when I was part of other programs, you weren't really being taught to push the product. It was more to recruit your people, and then they'll show you the examples. And basically what they were teaching is manipulation, how to bring someone over, get them to have stars in the eyes by you talking about the great gains that you've had and how the freedom of life it can give you, rather than standing – because I think the important thing of anything that you do in sales is that you need to believe in the product that you're selling, because that its own will convey a message across to the, the client or the customer that this is actually a good product that you genuinely believe in, and your body language will tell that, versus someone that displays too much talking or fast, just trying to get that closed, you know what I mean? And having some sort of pushy element. Do you get me?
Yeah, I believe. There's only one person you ever have to sell. That's the person that stares at you when you brush your teeth in the mirror. It's
that's true. Yeah,
that's it. You sell yourself on the product. If you sell yourself on the product, you're okay. If you try to sell other people on the product, you're going down a dark road.
Yeah.
For me, it's like you don't have to sell anybody the product. What you need to do is refer, but refer in a way that's genuine. Refer in a way that's more comfortable to you and your friend. Or if you're going to be recruiting business owners, refer by acknowledging that there's other people behind you that are smarter, bigger, and better than what you are. Because chances are your business owner friend is looking at you, and it may be an equal. They may even look at you as an influencer, but they still want to know that if you go quiet or if you go somewhere else, who can they turn to? Because people only ever want to know three things. They want to know, does it work? Can I do it? And will you help me? If you can answer those three questions, somebody will join.
Yeah.
So does it work? What you're saying, what you're telling me about the product, does it actually work? I mean, don't give me the sales tripe. Tell me truth. Does it actually work? All right. The answer is yes. That's great. Next question. Can I do it? Right. Yeah. So if you come at me with these massively complicated sales skills, techniques, using all of the whiz bang, or you even give me a presentation that's that sharp, that sweet, that I could never do it, then that there is a problem, right? Because I want to know that I can do it.
Yeah,
right?
I get what you're saying.
And then the last question is, will you help me? Now, part of that is, will you help me with what you know, but will you also help me learn from the people that you learn from? Because I don't want secondhand information. I want information that's coming straight from the source. So you need to be able to invite me to those meetings. You need to be able to invite me so I'm learning this stuff firsthand. Because if you're filtering everything before it gets to me, chances are if anything happens to you, my business is then reliant on you. And not many people want that.
So really you want to be picking a business with a good business structure to be a part of, right?
Yeah, well, when you're looking at an actual business to join, I think that's probably the first step, for me, I wasn't really interested in network marketing. I was interested in the business that I joined. It just so happened that it had a network marketing model. When I joined it, I had no interest in network marketing. That wasn't why I joined it. The first business we joined was a travel company. Had a really great opportunity to travel the world, have fun, and hang out with my mates, right? So I was like, I'm in. That's what I want to do.
And we all like to travel, Yeah,
that's right. Travel, you remember that thing? You remember that thing called travel? Back
in the day. I forgot about that.
back in my younger years. But now, obviously travel's off the table. And believe it or not, the next thing that we went into was based around science. It was based around DNA. It was based around being able to help people potentially live longer, or through DNA tests that actually were able to, bring back different things on how your body was working, or to use your entire ancestry to be able to break that knowledge down. Now, that was fantastic, but along came COVID, right? And trying to get a scientist to, come and do a DNA test so somebody could, when they were off trying to fight this disease was impossible. So that was a victim of circumstance as well. So at that stage, I didn't really want to join another. I had no inclination to join another network marketing company. And then some friends of mine actually owned a network marketing company that we're now involved in, MBA, and they introduced me to the concept of coming in and potentially teaching some people how to build some leadership, how to build some teamwork. And I said, look, I'm interested, but I would have to meet the crew first. I want to meet people. So they had a big live event that was it was down on the Gold Coast. I'm not sure if you were there, Neil, but
No.
there was about 400 people in the room, and I just got to mingle. No one knew who I was. No one knew why I was there. They just thought I was another participant. I got to speak to people. I got to hear what they said about the company, about how they felt, well, things that they felt they needed to get to the next stage of wherever they were. And, I fell in love, mate. I was like, wow, this is a really genuinely good bunch of people. They really cared for each other. There was a really good community of people. They weren't, trying to sell ice to the Eskimos. They were just enjoying themselves. They were learning to trade. And I felt it was the right time. Like as I say, we were going through COVID. For me, I don't think there's ever been a time in human history when it's been more important for people to understand how money works and to have a plan B around money and potentially look at options like digital currencies, because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
This isn't a fly by night scheme. These are very highly worked out currencies. And if you look at the history of money, most people just think that money's been around forever, right? And because that's all we know. But when you look at the actual timeline of that, money has a use by date like anything else. And I personally, I believe that digital currency is going to play a big role in what comes next. I'm not saying it's overtaking money. I'm just saying it's going to play a major role in that. And I want to help people educate themselves around that. And, when I first joined, one of the first things we did was I said, what is the vision? What is the mission? Because I want to know what the bigger play here is. Because if it's just here trying to sell people so we can make money, I'm not interested. And
I get
Paul
what
and
you mean.
Jason were very, up front. They were like, the idea here is to try and educate people about tomorrow's education today. You give them an insight into what's coming, give them an insight into the next phase of things, and allow them to educate themselves on something that we should have been taught from school but weren't. How to make money, properly make money, the Warren Buffetts of the world, and like the Elon Musks and all of these guys. They get their money to work for them, and we've been told to use our time to convert to cash, and then use that cash on shit that we don't need. So it's a novel concept, mate, but it's one I believe in.
Yeah, no, my mum's drilled that one into me. Make your money work for you. You don't work for money, straight up. And time is probably what I believe is the only real asset we have that we cannot get back. Everything else is replaceable. So, and that's the thing, like as you're talking about COVID, we're in this point of time where people are really struggling for employment and stuff like that. And there is money to be made out there. There's this one guy that was telling me it's just about where you divert your energy, because there's an abundance of money out there. You just got to get it to come to you, basically. But it won't come to you unless you put in. You need to put in, because nothing just comes to you as easy as pie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like no one falls to the top of the mountain. It's you don't just wake up one day and go, it's done, right? And a lot of people out there, it's not about working hard either. Let me clarify that, because there's a lot of people out there that work bloody hard. And, there's builders and there's contractors and subbies, and, there's a lot of tradespeople. There's a lot of white collar worker people as well that work hard, and they don't seem to be getting ahead either. So if it's not working hard, right, it has to be working a bit smarter. And for me, the smartest move, the smartest thing that I ever understood, and I learned this at Tony Robbins back when I mentioned at the start of this story, was there are people out there much more educated than I am. There's people out there with different skill sets than I do. I don't need to learn what they know. I just need to know how to activate them so we're all going in the same direction. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
So for me, I just go, why? Well, I don't want to be the star of a Superman movie. I want to be one of the Avengers. right?
Yeah.
That's the difference. You know, why go out and make $100 million at the box office when you can go out and top $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
So, and share it with your buddies. So let's do that. Let's do more of that. So for me, that was the biggest mind shift around money. Was it's not about what you think you know. It's about what is available to us right now, what's coming in the next phase. For me, that was cryptocurrencies and digital currencies. And how do we educate people to not only take advantage of that, but, and this is the kicker, this is where the network marketing sat in, was instead of people trying to make money out of network marketing, what about if whatever money that they made out of network marketing, they were able to put onto they could use it for cash if they wanted to, but they could potentially put it in to their trade plan and then start building up that plan so that they had more money to play with that was outside of what their survival bucket of money is. Yeah. And they had an opportunity to really break free from that forever. And I thought that was a really cool thing. So now we're not just talking about, because we do know the statistics about network marketing, there's a lot of people that don't make a lot of money, but even if we could get people to get 4, we could educate them for that money for free.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no, I like that thing about it. And I found that with a lot of models with MLM, like they sort of want you to get the first few sales going. That actually takes a lot of pressure off you as the salesperson because you don't have to now commit to that monthly commitment. But what I found is like the key is the community. You know, it's who you surround yourself around with. Like the saying goes, you know, show me your friends, I'll show you my future. And if you're going to hang around people that are aspiring to be successful, well, it's going to be much easier for you to be motivated to go that extra length because you're surrounded around a community of people that are doing the same. Because it's almost like people move as herds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, surround yourself around the right people that are focused and motivated on the same goal, and just be willing to anticipate that you guys are all going to grow together and just be dedicated to the cause, you know. And that's so just to tie back just a little bit, you know, is that we're in this time where rather than being in misery, feeling all alone and, you know, feeling like there's no hope, surround yourself by good people that wanting to grow. There's nothing wrong with people that love working hard. And some people do just love working hard. Otherwise, the term workaholic would not be there. But it doesn't mean you have to be there because that might not be your cup of tea. And from what I've learned in life is that, and from some people I've talked to, is stress is the biggest demotivator as well as it affects your mental health. And this sales game, you need to be vibrating on that top frequency where you're alive, and that's what drew me to you is that energy. And I bet you, if one person gets in touch with you and picks up on that energy of yours and says, "I love your energy, I love watching you because it helps me bring some energy into my life and puts a better perspective on things," that would be gold for you. And I guess at the same time as you're coming across as a nurturer and teaching people to be leaders, that alone, apart from the money, irrelevant of the money, is worth more than the money you make out of life, I feel anyway.
Oh, brother, yeah, I agree. I mean, like we're in the process at the moment of doing a 30-day challenge with a lot of people in the teams. And one of the first things, you know, everyone wants to earn money, right? That's the objective, but we don't start there. In fact, that's the last step. So I broke it down. We call it the Wolves Pack, and the W stands for wellness. The O stands for oneness. The L stands for lifestyle. And then the last thing is your finances. If you don't have the top 3 things in place, the last one won't matter because you'll be on a downward spiral. And the first one in wellness is all about energy. That's what it is. It's how to start the day well. You know, we give everybody a simple procedure to follow how to start their day. And it's so super simple. And I can share it with you. It's basically, we start the day with gratitude. So as your feet touch the ground, it's just thank you. Just a novel approach. Let's start the day by giving thanks that our feet are on the right side of it, right? And then the moment that you get up, you move your body, you get your lymphatic system moving. And then straight into that, you do a green drink. And you drink a green drink. You go straight into a 20-minute meditation. Then you do some audio, or you do a podcast, some sort of reading, or listen to some audio books. And then the moment that that's all done, then you pick up your phone and you text message 3 or 4 people, not about business, not about product, but just, hey, thinking about you, right?
Yeah.
And what this does, this process allows you to get up in the morning, you get some energy going through your body by moving and cracking a sweat, and then you take energy out of the ground in the green drink and you put that in your body. And then you take energy out of the universe, your source, your maker, whoever it is. You take that out and you stick that in your body. Then you take energy out of audio or podcasts. You're taking it from other people's knowledge base and you put that in your body. And when you're overfilling, you give back.
Yeah.
You give back some gratitude. You give back some energy. You give back some love back into the field. And we know just that start to the day will change somebody dramatically. They'll be in a very different headspace. They'll have a very different mindset throughout the day. They'll be more alert. They'll be more open for opportunities. They'll be there's so many ranges of possibility just purely because they're not low energy. What most people do is they wake up, they open their phone, they deal with some spot fires, they answer emails, they listen to text messages. They're already breaking down challenges and problems, and their brain's going like this. And they're probably only half tank when they wake up, and now they're at quarter tank by an hour after that. And this is the way they're trying to manage their day, at a quarter tank. And this is why people snap at their partners, they yell at their kids. They're tired, and as I say, they're working hard on top of that. And that's a recipe for disaster. And no one can maintain that for a long period of time without bottling it up.
Yeah, no, it sounds like what you have there is like a formula, not just for sales, but it's like a formula for success. Because what I've started to learn, I was chatting to a guy last year, and a big thing, one of the major topics of our discussion was gratitude. Being grateful for the people you're around, being grateful for the food you eat. Not everyone has that opportunity, but just being grateful for being able to look at your children. All this comes down to what I believe is dopamine hits. Giving yourself dopamine, allowing yourself to be happy, and getting it from natural sources, not like getting it from your mobile phone or getting it from Netflix or any digital technology. You're looking for it in a natural way. So you used the green foods, meditation, gratitude, stretching out, all natural, normal things, nothing going to some sort of resource to get it, but all coming from within you and the earth. But it's really does set the tempo for the rest of your day if you start your day well. And one of the things I've also come to realize as well is, for me, myself, my day does not start the day I wake up or the minute I wake up. My day actually starts the minute I go to bed, because I'm refueling those batteries for my next day so I can run out and do my full potential and do what I need to do without having to take a break or take a rest. Because the biggest challenge with anyone is getting that momentum going. But once you get the momentum going, then everything seems to be gets easy, because you get more comfortable in it. But always, whenever you try to get outside of your comfort zone, it's always a challenge. And that's where you get procrastination, but you sort of give yourself excuses to I can do this tomorrow, I can do this later, when really all that matters is the now, yeah?
It's made 100%. And, I call them my bookends. I have a process how I start every day, and I have a process how I finish the day. Part of that process for me, so that I can have a restful sleep and get up and do the whole thing and be present, as you say, it's in the now, it's being present in the moment, is I disconnect. So I disconnect overnight. I go through a 5-minute routine where I'm not a religious person by any means, but I'm a spiritual person. And I just picture a light coming in and just hitting my heart space, red light from the earth coming through, hitting that, and just disconnecting any residue, energy, seeping little straws that people have attached to you during the day. And it just allows me to disconnect and have a restful sleep, because my my process of sleep is doing one thing and one thing only. It's refilling the batteries, right? So that we can do it all again. For me, I'm all about that. If you can do what I call the bookends, just look after the start of the day and look after the end of the day. And it's, you would know yourself, even when you're doing webinars or speaking or anything, the rest of the day you can be in flow. If you do those two things right, you're in flow.
That's right.
And that's where the magic happens. It happens when you're in flow. That's that beautiful state that people see in your eyes. I don't know what quite makes you tick, but it's not artificial stimulants. It's not, bullshit or hyperbole. It's just flow. It's a flow state.
So like you're saying, you really just got to spend some time with yourself in the morning and spend some time with yourself during the day. And that doesn't mean going through your phone and chasing something, but just doing something that's relaxing, that allows you to come back to yourself, yeah?
The greatest saying I ever heard was, the minute you stop struggling to swim, you'll realize you float. And it's that constant push. People are always push, and they become a human doing instead of a human being. And I just have that moments, and I make sure I try and structure those moments in to disconnect and sit back, and you'll be surprised that you'll sit there and you'll go, maybe I should bring that person. I haven't spoken to them for a while. Now, this may seem like a prospecting call, but if it's genuine and you're just thinking about that person and you're just bringing them to give good energy, and 95% of the calls I do aren't even business related. They're just, hey, I'm thinking about you. I don't know why you just popped into my mind, but I'm thinking about you. And all of a sudden you're maintaining these connections. People know that you care outside of just making money. They're more inclined to say, okay, well, I trust you if we go down these routes, and never betray that trust, and you'll be in good stead. There's always business. There's always shit's going to happen. But you just always do your best to maintain your values, which is your word, and do what you say, and try to, if you follow those rules, mate, life is pretty simple at the end of the day. People overcomplicate it.
That's true. Yeah, no, it's simple. I find, try to make everything simple, and it'll be easy, and you won't have to stress. But like I've been this last year, I'm not a really big fan of Facebook, but I have to say I've enjoyed using it, and not because of all the rubbish that I've been seeing in my feeds, because really that's just drama that's not necessary for your psyche. But the messenger, there's, how many people you got on your friend list. You don't need, it's not like 15 years ago where we worried how much money we spent on making calls. Now you can just call someone and say hello, and, you catch up, you can now, you've got the time to connect with people. And that's what's most important, what people have forgotten, which is why we're having these issues now mentally, because we've sort of all gone our separate ways as the world's gotten busier. Because I tell you what, whoever told me that the mobile phone was going to save time in our lives, I want to shoot them, because I tell you what, life's gotten busier, you know what I mean? And
it has.
We have lost connection, and that's why I do like to go home to Mauritius, because they don't have that chasing, or was it catching up with the Joneses or something? It's just about what you have around you in your family. And it comes down to gratitude. You know what I mean? And that's the
Everything's
key.
about gratitude, right? You can't have, the funny thing about it is fear and anger and gratitude can't live in the same home, right? So you can't experience one and experience the other one at the same time. So you can only be one or the other. So if you're filling yourself with gratitude, some of these other, things like anxiety and stress and all of these things, they have to take a back seat. So if you are going to feel an emotion, why not feel one that makes you feel good? Why don't you feel one or be filled by one that could actually help your other human beings around you? And that's gratitude. And if we all took a step back and just they say if you just traded your expectations for appreciation, your whole life would change on a dime. When
Wow.
just all we got to do is to start appreciating the things that are around us.
Yeah, no, I get. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, like because once I learned that and the whole because I'll say it again, but dopamine is like that key to happiness. Like it's we get happiness out of it, and then you've also got the chemical of endorphins and
Yes.
serotonin, and then the one that I don't really like is adrenaline because
Yes.
adrenaline is used for stress. It is taxing on the body, where the other things actually sort of repair the body. You know what I mean, and keep the body in full capacity. And if people, I guess, focused more on managing those levels and not worrying about everything that goes on around them, people would be much happier. And, that's what we need right now. And, like we need people out there, they just need to be able to be happy and find a way to make an income. And then basically we could all live on our own page. Do you know what I mean? Or
And I think it's important. I think it's super important when people look at trying to make an income. This is where I believe Facebook and social media have really done the human race a disservice. That we and you mentioned it before about keeping up with the Joneses, right? It's about this unrealistic expectation that you need this amount or this car or this boat or these clothes to be happy. Hey, I'm not here to stop anybody from getting those things, but I am here to say you could be happy today. There's people, one of my favorite parts of the world is Fiji. You go to Fiji and they don't have nothing from a Western point of view of what we have, but they're the happiest people on the planet.
That's right. Yeah.
That doesn't mean to say that they don't need those things to be happy. So why do we feel that we do? Why do we feel the need that we need those things? So we have to take Alan Watts is an amazing writer, a speaker, and he speaks about a thing called the backward law. It means that the more that you try and obtain something, the less likely you are to get that, because the moment you don't have it, you create this scarcity mentality that actually works against you to ever get it. Right. And people do this a lot. They have this expectation, once I get the big house or the Lamborghini, then I'll be happy. Right. And because they wake up and they don't have a Lamborghini, well, then they feel bad about themselves. They feel unworthy. They feel like they're not enough. So is that Lamborghini closer or further away now? And so what you need to do is, I said it before, you just need to stop struggling so much and raise your frequency to the point where you can live in an abundant, happy, joyful state. And if that means you have a Lamborghini, great. If it doesn't, great. Those things shouldn't matter for you to have fun and be happy and be joyful. So if you can live in that state, I think regardless of how much money that we have, we can be happy. We get to choose that, right? Yeah. And you can only start to do that, and you get those chemical hits that you mentioned earlier. The dopamine and all of these shots all fire in the brain once you live in a happy state. Now, the human brain doesn't know that it needs a Lamborghini to be happy, right? Well, I don't understand how the human brain could be happier because it's driving around in a Lamborghini, for God's sake. It doesn't even make logical sense. All it needs to do is de-stress and be living in a good environment where it feels safe and it doesn't have to worry about saber-toothed tigers jumping out of the trees or anything. So start your day with gratitude. Start it filling with energy. End the day well and live well. And, let's be happy. You can have that happiness right now, and you don't have to wait for it.
Yeah, I think some of the things that they do themselves a disservice, it's the whole, when it comes to sales anyway, greed versus hunger, You can be hungry, so you want to learn, versus just trying to make money and putting stress on yourself to have those gains to, show off. And it's not necessary. Like I was telling my partner the other day that if I get to $1 million, I just want to buy a Ferrari, drive it for a year and sell it just so I can sort of show the wealth, but I don't need it. I'm happy to have this WRX. Do you know what I mean? We just need to, you don't need to have all the latest and greatest things, you know. There's always going to be new things out there. You just got to be grateful that you're just alive, I guess. Gratitude to be alive, like you say, feet touch the ground, but just for what you've got around. Like Sadhguru says, like the one thing that people take for granted is the fact when they wake up in the morning, they're still alive. Because a lot of people don't wake up from their sleep out there. So you're lucky in a way. So, yeah, appreciate that and go on to appreciate other things around you. And that will affect your mental outset, you know. Engaging in all this negativity online, in the media, it's only going to bring you backwards. It's only just going to pull you down. And the key is if you can't be happy now, what's going to happen after we come out of lockdown? Are you still going to be miserable? You're not going to, because you're going to be outside of your comfort zone from learning to, you know, we've all had to stay isolated for so long. So that's got to make some changes to people in their, you know, psychology and stuff. So, it's just be happy, you know, and, just be hungry and just look for opportunities. One of the things I learned from Katie Underwood was, I don't know if you know Katie Underwood, she was one of the members of Bardo. So I had the opportunity of chatting with her last year and she was telling me, you know, she never wanted to try out for Bardo or Pop Stars. Her friends were the ones that pushed her. So she just went along for the ride. She didn't get into that, I need to get into, you know, I need to make it, I need to get selected by the judges. She was like, if I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. And what ended up happening? She got in. And the rest is all history. But, yeah, so, you know, if there's anything I've learned, you know, is that out of the discussions I had last year was that have a mentor, someone that you can respect, that has been there, has some experience, just like you were saying with the salespeople at the start of the call. Surround yourself by like-minded people, like we said before as well. Show me your friends, show me your future. I'll show you your future. And don't try as hard. And these are the three things. And we've managed to actually touch on all three of them throughout this call today. So, you know, we're all the information is there. People just need to go out and grasp it, and you know, and just continue to look like yourself as an entrepreneur. You know, sometimes you do have to keep throwing things at the wall, but really what you've got to do is find what you like and what you believe in and what you enjoy. So when you take part in the journey, it's not like you're working, because one of the mottos I live by is that work a job you like, never work a day in your life. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I'm 100%. Yeah, as I say, enjoy that journey, man. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you, I noticed that you're also a bit of a coach in podcasting. I was just curious to know how you got a bit behind that.
Yeah, I look at it. Mainly, he started around the start of COVID. We did a couple of podcasts for a company, quite a large American syndicate that basically was called Surviving Business. We had a lot of heavy hitters from all over, all different parts around the world, coming in and sharing experiences on what was happening in the financial world. And we realized that there was a need there for people to go digital. We understood that podcasting was going to raise, in a sense, a ridiculous amount of percentage of how many people were going to be absorbing different podcasts and different audio files. And this really becomes the new medium. You know, no longer are we looking to the news for information. Everybody's looking for each other for insights. We want to learn from each other. I mean, there's good and bad in that, but essentially I believe it's a good thing, because we're breaking down a lot of cultural divides and a lot of binary mindset around you're this and I'm that. And, you know, there's now openness where we're actually being able to see each other for who we really are. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of binary bullshit out there at the moment. We all see it, but it's true essence of that.
There's a bit of rinse and recycle out there, but you know, there is a few good nuggets out there as well. Yeah,
mate, there is, and you know, and I'm glad, you know, I got to be on your show here today, and you know, and experience that, mate. This is what I call a quality conversation. You know, for me. This is, you know, it's raising the frequency, it's raising the level of awareness. And we're doing this, we're not trying to sell anything. We're just sort of out there, you know, just trying to help the world, right? And there's information that's there. It's been written in 1 million books. It's been said by 1,000 people. This is just our version of the same information.
That's right.
It's not our information. It's not their information. It's universal information. But when do we stop and listen to it? You know, how many times do you have to hear it before you start doing it? Just enough, I guess. So, you know.
I think the key is as long as you're willing to understand, if you feel there is change, like a lot of people don't really want to assess themselves. They just want to go with the flow. But if you want to reach success, you have to stop every now and then and do a little bit of assessment just to make sure you're on that right journey. And if you're not on that right journey and you think you're veering off, you just need to reach out. These days, there is so much information, so much resources out there. The guy from Reddit, one of the creators, he was like a 13 or 14-year-old kid when he invented Reddit. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he was on the money, and I was on the same frame of mind that these days there's so much information out there, you don't really need to go to school. And the CEO of Alibaba was even saying that, you know, in the future, computers are going to replace teachers. They're going to be able to just put them in front of a screen. Who knows, AI might come to that level that it will be able to converse with a kid and reason with them and get them to understand concepts, you know what I mean? And
well, they've already started that. You know, it's I think the whole concept around what we know as schooling is ridiculous. To put children in a room and ring a bell and tell them when they can eat, ring another bell and tell them when they can stand up. To me, that is programming like 101, right? And the quicker we get away from that, the better it'll be. I know that there's some really cool programs out there. One of them was Peter Diamandis, who created the X Prize, which somebody who could create an app that would teach a child how to read, write, and write code. And there's already people out there, big universities, pouring lots of funds in scenarios like that, where we can actually start to converse, because computers aren't going away. You know, these are the things that we're using on a more to more basis. But as we develop and as we mature as a species, hopefully the programming of the computers will rise, and we'll be able to use that not to try and make our lives easier, but to help us, help us mature faster, to be able to accept each other faster, to be able to break down the binary bullshit that we live in, that you're black, I'm white, you're a woman, I'm a man, you've got COVID, I've got no COVID. Like, all of this stuff is just built to divide us. And the quicker we are able to realize that we're 99.9% exactly the same, and, you know, we're all built from the same particles of dust floating around the entire universe, as is money and Ferraris and everything else made from the same stuff. And if we take away all the differences and realize how similar we all are, and maybe that'd be the first step. You know, that'd be a pretty cool step.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I'm 100% on that one. Like, I've had the opportunity to chat with CEOs. I've talked with music artists. I've talked with a bunch of people throughout my life, and at the end of the day, we're all people. If, you know, we connect. We have a conversation, I can learn from you, so be it. Sometimes they might learn something from me, you know. Sometimes they'll come to me for advice, even though I think they're a lot smarter. But it also comes back to the start where he said, I have my fields that I specialize in, and, you know, other people have, you know, and as long as we work together, we can grow together, you know. But at the moment, no, we still got a little bit of tall poppy syndrome out there, you know. So, yeah, it's a bit of a journey, and over the next 10 years, I think we're going to go through a lot. I think the next 10 years is going to be something for the history books for the future generations to read. There's a few factors that come into it towards that evolution, but I tell you what, right now, cryptocurrency is helping that change. It is. You know, it's breaking our reliance around what we know as cash. I mean, for me, I don't want to get too dark down that trap, but, you know, they used to put chains around our necks and whip us to build pyramids, you know. Now they just put us into debt. Yeah, it's, you know, we still do the same thing. We go and slave away all day, every day. I'm not saying, as I say, hard work it's admirable. It's, but just what I also say is having ignorance to me is just plain ignorance. I mean, you've got the knowledge out there. You have to explore it. Yeah,
You know,
you have to be open-minded,
open-minded.
and willing
That's
to learn.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. So that's yeah. So look, if people want to reach out to you, you've got your podcast channel, you've got an online presence, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I never try and push it too hard, but you can always reach out to me at shaneanderson.biz is my website.
Yep.
I've got a book and stuff on there that you can reach out, or you can reach out to me through the MBA. I'm working with them from the corporate side of things where we're doing some training. And to me, that's probably the best way, because then we get to work together and, you'll get to see some of the systems and the processes that we're putting in place to help people really maximize where they're going. And, most people look at it and go, oh, it's $200 a month, but for the amount of knowledge that they learn around how to crypto trade, plus you add in people like myself and Paul and other people that are working there that have the skill sets that we do, man, it's a lot cheaper than the $85,000 that I paid for the Platinum Partnership with Tony Robbins for a year, right?
Oh, man, I'd love to. Maybe we'll say that for another day. I'm really curious about it. And I did get you to. Did you manage to have a look at that video there that I sent the link?
I did. I got about halfway through it. So I haven't seen who he's speaking about yet, but he's actually in the conference. So
he won't tell you. And that was one of the things I wanted to use as a touching point, because if there's anything high ticket sales and MLM, they almost use the same pressures.
They do.
You know what I mean? And it's sad because, the MLM industry as a whole has got really good potential. And I see the model behind it, but I just don't feel they sell the product well. They're selling a pipe dream instead, And like
we still have it, mate. I see it now, even in, I won't lie. I mean, I see it in every business. And, because it's almost cheap and easy. So what I call a honeypot.
Yeah.
They lay these honeypots down and expect people to stick their hand in it and get stuck, and, but that's not, but I don't know. For me, that's not the way that you should live your life. Right. So there's a better way to do that. It's not to say everybody, I would hate for people to go out there and think, that MLM was tainted or network marketing was tainted because of a select few. Yeah. And not to say there's not a lot out there, but it's, you have to look at it. From me, I look at Channel 9 might advertise KFC and toilet paper, right? You may go and eat KFC and get sick, and I'm not bagging KFC, but you may get sick. You're not going to not buy toilet paper based on the fact that you had a bad experience with KFC. So blaming a company because of network marketing is like blaming this company because of what this company did in the same advertising space. Yeah. So we need to make that separation clear.
So is it fair to say sell the product and not the pipe dream?
Yeah. Why not?
And it'll be much easier. You'll still have the respect from your peers. And I guess, you won't put as much pressure on yourself, especially if you believe in the product.
Mate, the truth is good enough.
Yeah.
The truth is good enough. Tell them the truth. Yeah. Just explain, sometimes being able to show somebody the warts and everything else as well allows them to make an educated decision. And if they want to join you on that journey, great. But stop trying to sell and just convince yourself that what you've got is good if it is, and then speak the truth. That's it. Simple game plan.
Yeah, because if they want to sell the product to you later on, they will ask you because they know you're making money from selling the product. Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Look, Shane, I just want to thank you very much for your time.
Very welcome.
I'm really appreciative for you coming on, and it was a pleasure chatting with you today. I learned a lot of stuff from you, and I got to enjoy some of that energy that I see you portray so much. I tried to get involved in there a little bit. I think you saw my little Gotham City in the text chat the other day. Just had a bit of laugh. But what were you going to say?
No, I really appreciate the invite to come on, and mate, look, I'm super glad you're part of the MBA. It's we'll get to work together a bit more as we go forward, and I'm going to make sure I keep watching your journey as you expand this channel.
Awesome. Yeah, look, I'll drop all the links. I might even drop a link as well for your podcast, your podcast coaching program.
Sure.
So if anyone's interested in reaching out to you, they can do that.
Yeah.
And just wanted to say to all the subscribers, all the people out there viewing the content, if you like today's content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and you'll be able to find out about more content, but also give us a hand and smash that like button. That helps us out with the YouTube algorithm so we can get this content out to other people out there so they can pick up on some of the juicy nuggets that we talked today, yeah?
Perfect. Neil,
Right,
fantastic. Thank you, my friend.
You take care. All the best. Thank you, and you have a good day, everyone.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand.